Now we're joined in studio by political analyst Papano Pasha. Ms. Pasha, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
No, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Now, talking about slates today, we've seen an emergence of another slate today. We have, at least on Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma's slate, we no longer have Gwede Mantashe, we no longer have Paul Mashatile. What is your take on their absence now on this one, where not so long ago we saw these two feature on both the slates?
Well, I mean, it's 2 months before the national conference. So surely there are going to be changes based on the balance of forces. I mean, if you look at the current slate, the current chairperson or former chairperson of the Eastern Cape is now part of the slate. So it's again, it might also be a question of numbers, you know, because the Eastern Cape is highly divided. But what is quite what one can say with surety is that the particular faction which lost is going to be endorsing Nkosazana Zuma. So that's the likelihood. I mean, if you look at Gauteng, for example, and Paul Mashatile in particular, he has not come out clear in terms of who he actually supports. So he's not a good horse to bet on, but we'll see going forward, because the regions, some regions have pronounced, and some of them have pronounced in Gauteng, some of them have pronounced Cyril Ramaphosa. And one thing that we know is that Ekurhuleni has pronounced Nkosazana Zuma. So it's just dynamics. In fact, one cannot conclude that the slates which have emerged are the final slates. We are going to be seeing changes.
And now via Skype we're joined by Lukhona Mnguni. Lukhona, a very warm welcome to you. Your take on the slates that have emerged now. We're seeing Phumulo Masualle. We thought that after losing Eastern Cape at this point, he wouldn't come with any support base, but he seems to appear on Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma's slate. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, it's very, like the other analyst is saying, it's very difficult to make anything about the slates. What I don't even know, this slate that is said to be new is actually an old slate, probably just with the change of Phumulo Masualle. This slate came, some of it from a youth league meeting a long time ago from now. So it's not a new slate per se. But also remember that there are no two deputy secretaries in the ANC currently. I mean, that is still up for debate in branches. So it's actually a slate that is quite jaundiced in a way within the current constitutional framework of the ANC, because it presupposes that branches are going to approve the amendment to the constitution on making 3 deputies at a secretariat level and 2 deputies at a deputy president level. So I'm not even sure whether we should be bogged down to this slate that has emerged, because that slate still has David Mabuza. I mean, David Mabuza has clearly indicated that he is not about to pronounce, and we don't know how he's going to pronounce. And it is quite clear, I think, that Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and Cyril Ramaphosa, by the way, are quite apprehensive in having David Mabuza in their top 6 because of the type of track record that he has as a leader. So, I mean, when we talk about slates, we really should move cautiously, but probably focus on the presidential candidates and whether they motivate a consolidation of slates or not, or whether we are going to have 7 in the ballot, or whether we are going to have 2 or 3 and others would have consolidated. So there's still a lot of work that has to be done. You know that provinces are meeting. They're trying to find a consensus on the leadership question, and that too might actually affect what we are now saying as slates that we see.
No, an interesting take. We'll certainly get back to you. We now cross over to our reporter Lemogang Foke, who's out in Polokwane. Lemo, a warm welcome to you. Now, we understand that you're in the Peter Mokaba region today. A lot happening there, especially around the Polokwane mayor. But beyond that, have you gotten word on where they're swaying at this point in terms of their support?
A very good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and thank you very much. You know, I think it is no secret when it comes to the ANC Youth League in the province. They are going behind what the ANC Youth League at national level is saying in terms of throwing their weight behind Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. So definitely there's no separation between the two. And we've also seen this past weekend where Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was in the province in two different regions where, there was a lot of people in support of Nkosazana Zuma, and also, those people being, a majority of them being young people as well as women. And I have with me from the Youth League in the province, I'm now joined by Moremi Matume as well as David Cheselani, just to talk us through, some of the things that has been unfolding in the province. Thank you so much for joining us. Moremi, I will start with you. Let's talk about the relationship between the ANC Youth League in the province and the chairperson, and how it seems like there is a bit of a strain there.
We thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Indeed, we must confirm that the relationship with the ANC Youth League and the chairperson of the province is frosty. We wouldn't lie to you because from the beginning, the last time he spoke and addressed the gathering of the ANC Youth League was in, I think, 2015 during the 10th Provincial Conference of the Youth League at Karibu. Ever since, we've made some strides to try to get him to give us direction as the political head of the ANC in the province. We would organize memorial lectures and request that he be the one speaking on behalf of the ANC, but to this date, he has not done so. What we have seen so far in the recent weeks is that he's been going, particularly in Skukuni area, addressing structures that are claiming to be structures of the Youth League. Even though he was told that those structures are not structures of the Youth League, he would go there and address such structures whilst we are still waiting for him. In our 11th conference, delegates asked us as to where is the provincial chairperson, because what we see him doing is that he would go to funerals, be pronouncing on behalf of the PEC things that the PEC has not agreed upon, particularly on the preference towards 2017 National Congress. But we have tried in so many occasions to try to talk to him. We even sent a delegation of comrades to go and talk to him that we want to seek wisdom from him as a leader. But for this stage, he has snapped us, if that's the correct way of putting it.
Now, David, in the bigger scheme of things, the ANC Youth League has, pronounced on their preferred candidate, but we're not getting the same message from the province as a whole. Just talk to us about that.
Maybe we need to draw the line as to which province, or whether the province as a whole, whether they support our view or not. But sitting where we are, what we know is that the Youth League is a position. We are united than ever before in support of the stand which was made by the NEC of the Youth League. And we are not apologetic about that. We've already went to the ground, we told our structures, the regions, sub-regions, including branches, that there is a need for them to join the ANC. Sitting where we are, they are participating in BGM also of the ANC. The views of the Youth League must find expression in what we believe in as the ANC Youth League. So we don't have any problem. We are a structure that took decision. The ANC, you are correct. The ANC never sat. The ANC never met. What the ANC does is that immediately after the National Executive Committee meeting, they said that lobbying is allowed. So everybody, everyone in the province, many comrades, they just talk around the corners. Some of them, they are leading serious position in the ANC, but they can't come to the meeting and take a stand in terms of whom they want. Sitting where we are, the Youth League were not afraid of anything. We talk everywhere without any fear of contradiction. But if there is any member of the ANC, like what the Deputy Secretary was saying, going around to funeral, to all those gatherings, social gatherings, and pronounce that is not the position of the ANC in Limpopo. Because I'm a member of the PWC of the ANC, I'm a member of the ANC, I'm sitting in that meeting. There was not even a single meeting which we discussed about leadership. So whoever who's speaking, is speaking on his personal view. And in a revolution, we don't deal with feelings. But we deal with process that we are agreeing upon as members of the organization.
And Thank you very much. That was the ANC Youth League in Limpopo just giving their position on how the current events are unfolding just a couple of months, a couple of weeks ahead of that elective conference. Back to you, Mfundo.
No, thank you very much, Lemo. A very interesting picture that has been painted for us in Limpopo that we'll discuss in depth. We now cross over to radical economic transformation. Now, radical economic transformation is proving to be the dominant theme ahead of the ANC's national conference. The youth is championing the drive for RET. Lemogang Fokwe also filed this report for us.
Radical economic transformation is a top priority for the youth in the ANC's Capricorn region, and Transport Minister Joe Masangwane agrees.
Whites own the wealth, blacks are the laborers. A change in economic ownership is needed. The transformation of the economy is critical so as to represent the country's people. The wealth of the country must be shared by all of us, as is enshrined in the Freedom Charter.
The ANC Youth League in Limpopo is also encouraging the youth to take advantage of the skills development opportunities provided by government.
Majority of young people here, they are learners here at Ramogopa TVET College, and some of them they are doing engineering courses. We want to link them directly with the department so that they can know which opportunities are there in the department, so that they can take courses which are relevant to the economy of our country.
After the Transport Month engagement with the minister, young people are hoping for more of these platforms to be provided across all sectors.
Basically, the main reason why we're here today is that we heard that the minister will be here. So we have a great initiative, a great idea for the Department of Transport. Basically, we've designed a mobile app named Malemone. Malemone is a Tsonga language meaning how much. We've created a mobile app designed for our taxi commuters nationwide. The mobile app basically lets you know how much is from point A to point B. If you come from a rural area and you're nobody and you're not politically affiliated, it's very hard to get recognized. So if you send a proposal to these government sectors, corporate sector, it's very hard to respond to your proposal, especially if your email ends with Gmail or Yahoo. They don't actually take you serious. So we just want the minister to come on board and intervene on this matter, because of Santago is actually blocking us, because they get to evaluate the evaluation of the project. So we're just struggling. So how are we supposed to actually to create jobs in South Africa when we're actually being blocked, our leaders?
Radical economic transformation is dominating conversations with young people. It is now up to delegates to act on it at the ANC's 54th National Conference. Lemogang Fokwe in Botlokwa.
And now on to the Northwest. ANC structures are charting the way forward for the 54th National Conference. Branches are thinking beyond candidates and focusing on policies. Giovanni Machani filed this report for us.
With the ANC National Conference about 8 weeks away, branch members have a task not only to decide on leadership choices, but concrete policies that will be implemented. And for Tswaying ANC members, radical economic transformation is high on the agenda.
Leadership I think
the best approach is start with the policy position of the NEC, where the NEC took a decision that this year of OR Tambo, it's a year where radical economic transformation has to be advanced. In our case, we are saying people must get back their land. The banking sector must be transformed so that black people in our country must not be financially judged on the color of their skin, but on the merit and affordability to pay their debts and to take control of their financial masses.
As calls for free education grow louder, young people think it is possible, and ANC policies will make free education a reality.
One of the issues that is the main one. After the policy conference, we must focus to make sure we change
I think as the ANC Youth League, we must emphasize the issue of radical economic transformation. We must also emphasize the issue of free education in our lifetime. We must also emphasize the issue of socio-economic transformation. That's the issue that we think are very relevant to the young people and issues that are going to transform our lives.
With the ANC to conclude their leadership and policies come December, here in Tswaing, radical economic transformation seems to be the stress of the day, inclusion of the black person in today's economy and strengthening the youth, for they are the future. Giovanni Machani for ANC Decides, Tswaing, Bokoni Bophirima.
And we now cross over to our reporter, Giovanni Machani. Gio, a warm welcome to you. We understand that the Ngaka Mulema region is talking policy today, but have you perhaps been able to find out where they're leaning towards come December, or at least whom they're leaning towards?
Indeed, good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and good afternoon to the viewers. We do know December will be a combination of policies as well as the delegates that have been chosen at branch level, knowing that the Northwest in particular brings 538 delegates to decide the leadership from their stance going forward. We've heard from some branches saying that they are leading in the direction of having a female president represent them and obviously the nation at large going forward with the qualities that obviously will come from their preferred Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. But with me, I do have comrade Dr. Dakota, who's going to just tell us, who is the provincial secretary, who's just going to tell us where they stand in this regard. I mean, we've been speaking to a number of people, by-elections are happening. What are the characteristics that you're looking for in leadership?
Look, we want a leadership that would unite the movement, that would put the interest of South Africa, that would put the interest of Africa at the bigger scale of the agenda, particularly in the global stage. And that's what we are looking for. But we also need a female president, at least, to be in tandem with our strategic policy in terms of non-sexism. We also need a female who has substance, not only a female, but somebody who would be equal to the task.
So you say you're mentioning a female, but which female? I mean, the province hasn't, said anybody in particular who they are backing. Is there a reason?
Look, we have resolved over the past weekend, we held a provincial general council. We have endorsed Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma as our presidential hopeful. We hope that she will bring substance and she will bring quality to the leadership that is there in the African National Congress. We hope that at least she will assist us with the experience that she has held various positions as a minister, that she was the chairperson of the African Union, that she has been in the leadership for almost over 4 decades of the liberation struggle of our people. We have confidence in her leadership and we hope that she will assist us to bring about change.
Thank you so much. So you've heard that coming from Bokoni Bophirima, they seem to stand with the leadership qualities of Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, knowing that at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of the branch delegates who will be voting in December to decide the future of the ANC and the nation at large.
No, thank you very much, Giovanni. We'll certainly keep in touch as days progress. Now, Papa, no, interesting there. We saw 3 packages from the reporter stars, just starting with radical economic transformation. Now, the likes of Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa went on to say that actually RET is not perhaps a move from existing policy, but just an acceleration of implementation of a long-standing ANC policy. So if we're going to all be clear on that this is what the ANC has always had in terms of their policies, but it's in the how. Are we getting the how from any of these candidates? How are they going to accelerate this implementation?
Well, the challenge at the moment is that we've got many candidates. And among some of these candidates, we actually don't know what they actually stand for. But looking, for example, or looking at Cyril Ramaphosa, the challenge again with Ramaphosa is that he changes based on the audience. At times, he will speak about radical economic transformation. When he is with a different audience, his stance changes and he mainly focuses on corruption. So it's a little bit difficult to actually understand what he is actually talking about. Because what is, it is clear is that he mainly favors the status quo. Now, if you look at the other candidates, for example, Nkosazana Zuma, she has been talking about implementation. She has said that we have been, the ANC has been very slow in terms of implementing its own policies. Because remember, if you look at the policies of the ANC, going back to documents like Ready to Govern, the ANC knows what needs to be done to transform society. The only challenge is, you know, implementing those policies. So she has said that, for example, surely we need to change the face of the economy. She's also spoken about the land question. And the other candidate, for example, taking Lindiwe Sisulu, she's not really spoken on radical economic transformation. So it will be difficult to tap on all these candidates, because at the moment we've got, what, 8 candidates.
Now, Lukhona, to you perhaps Limpopo, the dynamics there, I mean, some can just say, you know what, at this point it's fertile ground for any candidate. There's just too much chaos. What is your take on the political dynamics there?
Well, I mean, just like with many other provinces of the ANC, the center is not holding within Limpopo, and that center is that the current Provincial Executive Committee is unable to assert itself as a credible authority that will lead, partly because it has associated itself at times with what are called rogue characters in that province, who are propping up parallel structures, especially within the Youth League. I do think that Limpopo will be a tightly contested province. Whoever takes it, it will probably be a 55-45 split of that province. So it is fertile ground insofar as fluidity also of politics in that region is concerned among district municipalities, which of course are the regions of the ANC. So you have a situation where the chairperson, by virtue of being incumbent, like with other people, your Ace Makashule, your Supra Maumapelo, are using their incumbency to influence the structures on the ground on which way to go. So whatever chaos is there, it is not unique by any measure to what you see in the Free State, in the Northwest and the Western Cape.
No, thank you very much. And now we're going to go on to our poll question for this week. Now, the question is, should the ANC government make tertiary education free for all? Do give us your views on our Twitter handle. It's at ANN7TV, or visit our website. It's www.ann7.com. And we've come to the end of our show. That's where we leave it. Until next time.